But every single week, I want to know that I have done at least one thing that has given me a sense of joy.
Hello, Magic Cheers. Welcome to another episode of Talk About the Magic. I am a little. It's a little bit of a different episode. Not because, well, it's just a different episode. It's a hard episode. We many of you guys know we had Emily on the show here, episode 162, I believe, and which is about 2 weeks ago. And she's a fantastic guest. Really had a wonderful time talking with her and getting to know her. And I've seen her from Instagram and from other people who've interacted with her. I would see the posts and stuff. And I mean, you can listen to that episode that we had her on to kind of get an idea more of what she stood for. But she this past week, unfortunately, did pass away, and we've seen different people kind of share their thoughts and everything, and I wasn't really sure kind of how to do this, because I don't want to bring up something that is not something fun to think about per se, but at the same time I wanted to bring it up because honestly she was just an awesome person to have on, and her story was so powerful and so strong. And you could hear the clip in the beginning here that I played. That really just stuck out to me. And hearing the show, it means so much more to me now than even when we had done it, because it just kind of brings to light of the importance of everything she was saying. And it brings to light also the fighting attitude that she had, which was honestly just an amazing thing to hear. And I got to talk with her, of course, a little more after the show, and it was amazing because I was really blown away at how composed she was and how strong she was. And just, it's one of those things that, again, it's unfortunate you don't know this is going to happen. You're obviously, things are being told to you, and you kind of preparing, getting an idea of how strong and the battle is going to be, but you don't know, and you're fighting all the way through. And unfortunately Emily didn't do that, wasn't able to beat this time the fight. But at the same time, it's an amazing thing that she was able to fight all the way through, and she accomplished so much of what she wanted to do. And I don't really want to talk so much into it, because there's so many other people who a lot more than I did, and Donna, who is a mutual friend here through Instagram. She's the one who even introduced me to Emily, and I was encouraged to reach out to her because of the posts and everything that she had been doing regarding Emily. And it was just a wonderful, amazing thing to have her on. And I do just kind of want to dedicate this style of show to her, only because we've had so many awesome guests on the show. And what's amazing about Emily is, she fit right there with all the guests that we've had. She accomplished so much, and her mindset was so powerful, so strong, which is exactly what I want for myself and what I hope for you guys. That's why we do this show, so we can have this mindset of pushing through, of not getting, beat down, not quitting, keep going, keep trying to achieve what we're trying to achieve. And I put the small little snippet there in the beginning because that to me really just summed up, I think something that we all need to be trying to do. Just that one thing, just one thing. It doesn't take too much. And because, it's funny because obviously, a lot of you who are listening maybe didn't know her. Maybe you heard the episode and kind of moved and everything, but it's amazing how many people she's impacted, that we've seen come out and just say, oh my gosh, I didn't know this was going to happen, and that's unfortunate. But we find out how much she had impacted them, and that's the whole point, of this. I want everyone to understand how much power you have of impacting those around you, for good or for bad. It's your choice. It's your decision to say, I'm going to look at the situation and become negative and become angry and become, just all upset and let it affect who I am as a person, which of course then will affect those around you. Or you can say, I'm going to let the situation, pan out, and I'm going to continue to think the way I think, continuing to think happy thoughts, continuing to try to achieve something that makes me truly happy, continuing to try to not be negative and focus on positive. She used to do positivity posts there on Instagram and her stories. Those kind of things impact people, because you never know who's that one person who's on that verge. You never know who's that one person who's really in a tough spot and they just need a little something. And lo and behold, they looked at your picture, they looked at your post, they looked at your story, they looked at your art, they listened to your show, your podcast, they watched your YouTube video, they read your blog, they maybe they remember the trip that you created for them if you're an agent. Like, that's what I mean. Like, we have so much power to impact those around us. And it's important that we understand we can do such an amazing thing by impacting those around us with positivity. And so, it's a tough show because obviously, I personally didn't know this was going to happen. And we definitely didn't want it to. And I know nobody, who knew her wanted this to happen, and I'm just so honored and blessed to have had her on here, and to have been able to share her story. And so, guys, if you haven't, like I said, you can check it out. It's episode 162. But even more, I did want to share some stuff, for those who are interested. The family did set up a site. It's called memsofems.com. I'll put it in the show notes. If you look in the show notes today, you're not going to see anything else. You're not going to see anything about Twitter or Facebook or anything like that. It's just going to be, everything's going to be regarding her and what's going on. So if you look there, it's going to be memsofems.com, and that's because her handle on Instagram and everything was called emscat, and it was with a 3 instead of an E. And of course, we go into that in her story, but you can go to the website there. You're able to also, if you knew her, if you want to have a memory that you'd like to share, if you use the hashtag, especially there on Instagram, if you use the hashtag memsofems, it will automatically post up onto the website. So that way, you can go there and check it out. And then lastly, they are actually going to do a, let me find it here. They're actually going to be doing a meetup in honor for her. So this is, of course, for the people who are near Disney, or maybe who'll be visiting Disney at this time, who would like to go. It's going to be on May 31st at 10 p.m. And it's going to be in the Magic Kingdom by the Tangled Tower. They're going to be releasing some balloons in honor of Ems. Emily really loved Rapunzel. She did Disbound, dressed up. I believe it was as Flynn. I believe when I looked at the picture, a mixture of both, actually, I guess. But she enjoyed Rapunzel. It was one of her favorite characters, and they're going to be releasing the balloons there in her honor. So if you're in the area on May 31st, and especially if you want to be a part of this, and even if you didn't know her, I would motivate you to go, because you're going to get to see and meet many of the fellow Disney community there, and understand why Emily was such a big impact for a lot of people, and why having friends in this community is so such an amazing thing to have, because we do really care for each other. We do, want the best for each other. So if you are in the area, please be sure to check it out. It's going to be May 31st at 10 p.m. at Magic Kingdom, like I said, near the Tango Tower. So, I like this episode, like I said, is a little different. I'm not trying to make it, it's not a sad episode. Obviously, for the loved ones and close friends of Emily, this is really, really hard time because they don't get to see her. But obviously, something that I think everyone would agree on is the smile that Emily shared. Definitely something that we can carry on. It's definitely something that we can, look at and be reminded of how much joy she had and would want to share with others. It's just one of those things. It's just an infectious smile. It's just an amazing smile that I think is really burned into anyone who is able to look at, who she was. And that's a wonderful thing to have. If that's a memory that you can carry on, I think that's a wonderful memory to carry on of her, which is just that smile and the perseverance, the courage, the strength, the joy that she had, the no fear, the, push through fight attitude, and, giving her the respect in that she was able to accomplish so much in the time that she had. So please, guys, go check that out. You can go to check out, like I said, the website, do the meetup. Of course, just if you want to know more about her, check out the interview and listen to her speak. And honestly, like I said, it just means so much more now because she was really fighting, and you couldn't tell, and that's just an amazing thing. I mean, she was so strong. You just couldn't tell, and I think that's just because she had that fire, and that's just something I admire, and I hope, like I said, I can have in my own life, and I hope you guys can have in your own life, for whatever it is that may come up in our lives in the future that might not be the best. It might be a little tough. So I do want to thank you guys for checking out the show today. It'll be next week back to normal. Back to having the guests. I'm looking forward to share the guests with you next week. But this week I did want to just bring attention to this. And like I said, if you guys could say a prayer for the family, just send them some peace and pixie dust for them, because obviously this is not an easy time. But I hope you guys will enjoy the rest of your week. And please be sure, like I said, check out that episode. Have a great night, day, weekend, whenever you listen to this. And as always, stay magical.